YouTube? So, kind of wanted to do a little discussion today. I know, I haven't done one of these in forever. It's like, it's craziness. It's like this, I used to just talk and talk and talk, and I still do that, but I just don't talk to myself anymore. So, we're going to do a discussion. I had kind of an idea, and kind of wanted to throw it out there, and I want to hear everybody else's thoughts. So, how many people have been to a comic book convention? Raise your hands. Why are you raising your hand? I can't see you. But seriously, so you've been to a comic book convention, right? And when you go to a comic book convention, it's comic books, it's movies, it's video games, it's anime, it's Star Wars, it's Marvel, it's DC, it's art, it's other random stuff, it's toys, it's action figures, it's all kinds of stuff, right? It's a very all-encompassing atmosphere of, like, comics and comic things. It's not just comic books, per se. It's a wide, all-encompassing atmosphere of stuff. And, you know, they have these in just about every major city. I mean, we have like 3 or 4 a year in Pittsburgh. Actually, they have them in Monroeville, because there's a convention center there. But, I mean, even like the Wizard World one shows up. And then on top of that, you know, there's other stuff too, like Dungeons and Dragons and all kind of other stuff that comes in and kind of gets its own little table and what have you. But it's all sort of centered around the idea of, like, fantasy and comics and fantasy heroes and characters and stuff like that. And they're a hell of a good time. You know, I mean, I've spent boatloads of cash and, you know, seen tons of people dressed up really cool, and I've met some cool people. I've actually met a lot of professional wrestlers at these things. Like, I've met Ric Flair. How cool is that? Like, Ric Flair? Walk up to him and you go, woo! Because it's Ric Flair. But, anyway, so, what's my point? I guess my point is, wouldn't you guys go to a skill toy convention? I know I would. So, let me break it down. Let me explain to you kind of what I mean by that. So, everybody tells me yo-yoing is a niche thing. And it is. I get it. There's a big learning curve. But you know what else is a niche thing? Kendama. It's also a niche thing. Big learning curve, right? But there's lots of people that really love kendama. Lots of people that really love yo-yoing. There's also lots of people that really like Rubik's Cubes. I'm not one of those people, but it's a skill toy. Rubik's Cubes. You know what else people really like that's not so much a niche thing? At least not at the moment? Fidget spinners. And, you know, juggling balls, and there are a plethora of other things that fit into this very broad, skill toy-esque category. And I feel like if we just have... So, I'm going to go to PA States next week, or this coming week, as you're watching this. It's on Saturday, and it's just going to be a yo-yo contest. And I'm going to go, I'm going to hang out with other yo-yo players, and other guys who do yo-yo, and I'll buy yo-yos and all that stuff. But, okay, what if it was in a convention center, which it's not, it's outside, but still, and it was yo-yos, and there was a yo-yo contest, but it was also kendama, and there was a kendama contest, and, you know, somebody was around doing fidget spinner tricks. I can't do fidget spinner tricks, but what if somebody's doing fidget spinner tricks, and there was Rubik's Cube contests, and all kinds of stuff. So, the yo-yo contest is going to be pretty big, but would it be 4+ times as big if it was more encompassing of other skill toys? I think it would be. And, you know, I know a lot of people are going to be ho-hum about this, and, why would you incorporate fidget spinners and whatever? Because anything that keeps you off of your phone and off of video games and just doing stuff and fidgeting and playing with your hands and playing with toys that are not electronic, I really think, you know, it is a thing that we can all bond together over. And, you know, on top of that, maybe we could have, like, you know, some of the Sweets kendama players there, and, you know, you could talk to them, and maybe they'll show you some tricks or whatever. You could have some professional yo-yo players there. You know, I mean, I've talked to professional yo-yo players. I know they would love to hang out at a table and just yo-yo with people in that kind of a setting. I think that would be really cool for them. And I'm sure kendama players feel the same way. You know, I'm sure fidget spinner designers feel the same way. There's a lot of people that, like, you know, go out of their way to, like, design and machine really high-end, cool-looking fidget spinners. And I'm sure, you know, for them to have a platform to just kind of show off their work would be great, too. So So, I really think we can all kind of we can all bond, that's the word I'm looking for, over something like that. But we don't do it. We all keep ourselves very segmented away from all the other communities. It's like, okay, yo-yoers over here, kendama players over here, people who like fidget spinners, we're going to turn our nose down to you, but you stay over there, even though there's 10 times as many of you. And, Rubik's Cube people, you go down there, and jugglers over there. And it's like, why do we do that? Why don't we do it all together? And why is it never set up as some sort of a giant expo of some sort? It just seems, the more I think about it, the more it seems ridiculous that it doesn't happen. Now, I don't have the capacity or the ability to set anything like that up, but I wanted to get the discussion started, and I want to know what you guys think. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Because I know it's something I would be interested in. It would hurt my wallet a lot, because I'd probably, buy a bunch of kendamas and buy a bunch of yo-yos, and I'd be convinced to buy a Rubik's Cube, even though I suck at those, and I'm sure I'd buy a fidget spinner and probably juggling balls or whatever. But just think of the, logistics of it. You pay an entrance fee, and then you have people pay to set up tables, and it could be vendors, so, YoTrix could be there with a table, and Yo-Yo Expert could be there with a table, and YoyoBestbuy, and it just, depending on where it is and what the cost of those guys would be, but they could be there with tables and booths and what have you, and even, there's a lot of small yo-yo companies who would be able to do this kind of stuff too. One Drop could have a table or what. I guess One Drop's not small, but let's say G Squared would have a table if it was close enough that he could travel there, or he had a player that could travel there and run the table or whatever. Run the table like it's gambling, so you'd be able to get things at conventions that you couldn't necessarily get otherwise. You can wait for a drop and be very oh man, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? Or you go to a convention and you walk right up to the table because it's a convention of, hundreds of people, but they're all into different stuff. You walk up to the table oh, hey man, nice to meet you. You meet the guy that designed the yo-yo. Talk to him about it a little bit. You buy the yo-yo from him. And, you have fun with that. Same thing with the kendamas. Same thing with the fidget spinners. Same thing with the juggling balls. All that stuff. We can incorporate a lot of people. A lot of you guys are super artistic, too. You can incorporate that. Hand-painted yo-yos, that'd be really cool. Could incorporate some of that. I know the Oh Yes Yo guys, Coffin does hand-painted stuff on some of his yo-yos sometimes, and that stuff just looks amazing. And I think it would be cool for guys like that to just have a sort of a showcase to be not only, to interact with other yo-yo players like we do at contests, but to also interact with members of other skill toy communities like the kendama community or the juggling community or what have you. Hell, put the Balisong knife people in there. I don't know if it's legal to do that, but, we could stick them in the same category if that's, I don't know what the logistics are about that, but to me it feels like such a great idea, and the possibilities seem endless and, really good, because I think a lot of the reason that the yo-yo community isn't exploding is because there's just not that much money in it. But I think if we all kind of bonded together, at a huge skill toy convention, at that point you can get more money into it, because for that convention you could say, okay, well, we want Monster Energy Drink to also sponsor, because these guys are going to buy tons of Monster Energy Drinks and drink them, while they're here playing yo-yo and kendama and all that stuff too. Or, coffee places or, beer distributors. I love beer. Pull those other people in that would be, who doesn't drink coffee? Who doesn't drink energy drinks? Who doesn't drink beer? Who doesn't, get whatever, whatever else is popular, get other little booths of that too, incorporate it all together, call it a convention, there we go. And, I feel like that's really what the whole skill toy community is lacking, that togetherness of being able to bring together yo-yo players and kendama players and people who are into fidget spinners and jugglers and all that stuff, the way that the comic community does, where, you bring in Marvel guys, the DC guys, the anime guys, cosplayers, the Star Wars guys, you bring all those people together and you pack that place, you charge them all a fee to get in, and then they all kind of go off and look at their own specific thing that they're interested in, but they look at everything while they're there. So, maybe somebody, and this probably doesn't happen because this is all huge now, but, you know, maybe somebody who was particularly into Spider-Man goes to, like, you know, look at the Spider-Man stuff, but then notices, oh, hey, I did want to check out that new Batman one, and they get into that too. I feel like it could be the same thing with a skill toy convention where somebody who could go for yo-yos but get into kendama, or vice versa, or go for fidget spinners but also get into yo-yo, or also get into kendama, or also get into juggling, or something like that. And I feel like that's the kind of thing we need to be able to grow the community. It's not so much a niche thing if we incorporate other types of similar activities and put everybody together and call it a convention. You know, have trick ladders and you know, demonstrations, and have professionals show up too, and have, you know, be able to meet them and learn a trick from them, and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of follow the mold of a comic convention, but have a skill toy convention. So I need to know what you guys think, like I said. Tell me down in the comments, would you go to a skill toy convention? Because I know I would. I'd spend some serious dough at a skill toy convention, and it'd be seriously fun. So, you know, I really think we need to maybe get this started, get the discussion started. So, you know, let me know what you think. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate everybody's love and support. I do have a giveaway going on, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you enter that giveaway. And you know, we'll go from there. I'm going to give away a $20 Yo-Yo Expert gift card, which, you know, you can use to get into kendama because they sell those too. Or, you know, you can buy another yo-yo or some yo-yo strings or whatever, because that's what it's for too. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Cheers to you. And I'll see you next time.